Picture this, right? You are standing in an elevator at the end of a long day,
Okay, I can picture it.
and the doors slide shut. You turn around, and standing right next to you is your boss. Or, maybe it's a neighbor you really want to be friends with.
Oh, that's always a little stressful.
Right. The elevator's quiet for a second. Then they look at you, they smile, and they ask a very simple question. They just say, "So how was your day?"
And suddenly, complete panic sets in.
Exactly. Your mind just goes totally blank. You know you did like a million things today. You know you feel tired or maybe happy.
But the only words that come out of your mouth are a safe, quiet, good.
Yeah. Or "I'm fine," or just "busy," and then the doors open, they walk away, and you just feel incredibly frustrated.
Because you wanted to connect with this person, but you felt trapped by your English vocabulary. I mean, it's such a common experience, and honestly, it is a terrible feeling.
It really is.
That simple question, how was your day, is asked millions of times around the world every single evening. It's, the most basic way human beings start a conversation.
But for English learners, it can feel like stepping into a trap.
Yeah, exactly. You have all these rich thoughts in your head, but you just don't know how to organize them into English words quickly.
Well, if you have ever felt that elevator panic, don't worry, because today's deep dive is designed to solve this exact problem. We are exploring a really practical step-by-step guide from our sources on how to talk about your day in English.
And we're going to cover everything.
Yes, everything. We'll look at your morning routine, your work day or your school day, your meals, and most importantly, how to naturally express your real feelings.
I love that.
Think about answering this question like making a sandwich.
I'm making a sandwich. Okay. I like where this is going, but explain that a bit more.
So think about it. If someone asks about your day and you just say, "I'm fine," that is like handing them 2 dry pieces of plain bread.
Right. Not very tasty.
No. Sure, it's technically food, but it's not exciting, and it's definitely not a good meal. So today was going to learn how to add the fillings. We want the meat, the cheese, the fresh vegetables.
We're adding the specific details that make your conversation delicious and interesting.
Exactly. And, to make sure everyone listening can easily follow along and even practice speaking out loud with us, we are going to keep our tone very clear today.
Yes, we will use simple words, short sentences, and a nice relaxed pace. You really don't need a dictionary for this deep dive.
We just want you, the listener, to feel comfortable. So before we can dive into the specific events of your day, we need to build a strong foundation, right?
We need to know how to give a good general summary first.
Right. And looking at our sources, I noticed something interesting about the actual question. It's, "How was your day?" Not, "How was your day?" I'm guessing that's because we're, looking backwards in time.
You got it exactly right. That is a very important detail to notice. We use the word was because this question is usually asked in the late afternoon or the evening.
So the day is mostly over.
Exactly. The main events, waking up, working, traveling, they have already happened. They are in the past. So when someone asks, how was your day? They are asking for a quick history lesson of your last 10 hours.
And as we said, the most common answer to this history question is just, "It was good." But I want to push back on this for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
What is actually wrong with just saying, "It was good"? I mean, it is grammatically correct. If my day was nice, isn't good the truth?
You're totally right that it was good is 100% correct grammar. No teacher will mark that wrong on an English test.
Right.
But conversation isn't a test, it's a connection. Here's the psychological problem with it was good, it's a closed door.
A closed door.
Yeah.
Meaning it's too short.
Yes. When you give a tiny one-word answer, the other person has absolutely nothing to talk about. The conversation just stops. But if you change your answer even a little bit, you open the door.
Okay, so if we are throwing away good, what kind of fillings can we use instead? What are some better alternatives?
Our sources give us some excellent options that native speakers use all the time. First, you can say, "It was pretty good."
Pretty good.
Yeah, this means it was good, but maybe not absolutely perfect. It's just a bit more honest. Another great option, and probably the most common one for adults, is it was busy.
Oh, wow. Yes.
Yeah.
It was busy is definitely the truest answer for most of us.
It really is. Another option is to say, it was a long day. This is a great phrase because it tells a story. It means you worked or studied a lot and the time moved very slowly.
So it's a bit exhausting.
Right. And if the day really took all your energy, you can say it was a little tiring. And finally, if your day wasn't super exciting but nothing bad happened either, you can simply say it was okay.
I really like it was a little tiring because if I say that to you, it almost invites you to ask a question.
Exactly. I might say, oh no, why was it tiring?
And suddenly, we're having a real conversation. The door is open.
You're creating a genuine human connection. You are giving them a reason to care about your day.
So once we give our general answer, our open door, we need to explain why. We need to actually tell the story of our day. But, telling a story in a second language can feel very messy.
Oh, definitely.
Sometimes I start talking and my ideas are jumping all over the place.
Hmm.
How do we keep our timeline organized for the person listening?
We use 4 simple, really powerful connecting words. These words just organize time. They are first, then, after that, and finally.
First, then, after that, finally. I love these words. They are like street signs on a road.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, they guide the person you're talking to through the story so they don't get lost.
Yeah.
You start the trip with first. You keep driving down the road with then and after that, and you reach your destination with finally.
That is a perfect image. Imagine trying to drive in a new city without any street signs. It would be super confusing.
Yeah, very frustrating.
And that's what a story without connecting words feels like. So if we use our street signs, we can say, first I woke up, then I brushed my teeth, after that I had breakfast, finally I went to work.
Wow, that turns completely random actions into a very clear journey.
Exactly. It's so easy to follow.
Okay, so now that we have our street signs, let's actually drive through the timeline of a typical day. Let's start right at the very beginning. The morning routine.
There is a subtle but really important grammar rule we need to talk about here. It's the difference between your general habit and what you actually did today.
Okay, so habit versus today.
Right. If you're talking about your daily routine, the thing you do every single morning, you use the present tense. You say, I wake up at 7.
Right, because it happens today, it will happen tomorrow, it happened yesterday. It is a fact. I wake up at 7.
Correct. But remember our elevator, the person isn't asking about your whole life, they are asking about today.
So you must step into the past tense. Instead of I wake up, you say, I woke up at 7.
I woke up. It's just one small letter change from an A to an O, but it sounds so much more natural. So first I woke up, then what? I'm guessing I say I got out of bed.
Yes, exactly. I got out of bed. Which, honestly, is the hardest part of the entire day. Waking up is easy, you just open your eyes. But getting out from under the warm blankets, that is the real challenge.
Oh, it takes so much willpower, especially on a Monday. But once you finally get out of bed, the actions are simple. You can say, I brushed my teeth, I washed my face, and I got dressed.
And just to clarify for our listeners, got dressed just means putting on your clothes for the day. You don't have to lift your clothes. You don't say, I put on my shirt, then I put on my pants. Just say, I got dressed.
Right, keep it simple.
So the morning is done. Now we head into the biggest part of our timeline, work or school. If someone asks, what did you do today? What are some common verbs we can use?
You're still going to use simple past tense verbs here. For example, you can say, I worked, I studied, I had a meeting, or I read a book.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Those sentences are clear. Grammatically, they are perfect.
But they're a bit boring.
Yeah. They feel a lot like those dry pieces of bread we talked about earlier. I worked. It's just a little bit empty. How do we make those short sentences more interesting without using huge, difficult words?
This is exactly where we add the sandwich fillings. To make these verbs interesting, we just add one tiny piece of extra context.
Okay, what kind of context?
Well, we can add duration, which just means how long we did something. Or we can add people, which means who we were with.
Let me try this. So instead of just handing someone plain bread and saying, I worked, I can add how long I worked. I can say, I worked from 9 to 5.
Yeah.
Or instead of saying, I studied, I can say, I studied English for 1 hour.
Do you feel the difference? It is still a very simple sentence, but now it paints a picture in my mind.
And what about adding people? If I had a meeting, I shouldn't just say, I had a meeting. I can add the context and say, I had a meeting with my team, or I studied with my classmate.
Exactly. You are giving the listener details they can actually connect with. Maybe they know your team, or maybe they also study English. You are building a bridge to them.
But, what if the day was just crazy? Like those days where you're running around, the phone is ringing, and you don't even have time to list every single thing you did.
In that case, trying to list everything is actually a mistake. Instead, there is a very natural, common phrase you can use. You can simply say, I had a lot to do.
I had a lot to do.
Yeah, and you can specify it by saying, I had a lot to do at work, Or I had a lot to do at
I
home.
really like that. It sounds so much more mature than just screaming, I was busy. But even on those crazy days, we hopefully stop for a few minutes. How do we naturally talk about resting?
You just use the word break. You can say, I took a short break. Or if you went to get a drink, you say, I took a coffee break.
Okay, that brings us perfectly to my absolute favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
Meals. And this is an area where I know a lot of English learners get tripped up. I hear it all the time. Someone will say, first, I eat breakfast, then I ate lunch. Now, is that wrong? Because native speakers usually say, I had breakfast. Why is there a difference?
This is a really fascinating part of English. I ate breakfast is grammatically fine. Everyone will understand you.
Right.
But eat just refers to the physical action of putting food into your mouth. In everyday spoken English, native speakers almost always use the verb had for meals. Because a meal isn't just about chewing food, a meal is an experience.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Like, you don't just consume calories. You sit down, you take a break, maybe you talk with a coworker.
Yeah.
It is an event.
Exactly. When you say I had lunch, you are talking about the whole event, the food, the time, the feeling. Saying I had breakfast, I had lunch, or I had dinner sounds highly natural.
So we use had. I had lunch. And just like we practice with our work sentences, we can add context to make our meal sentences better.
Right.
We can add fillings.
Absolutely. You can add the specific food, like I had rice and eggs for breakfast. You can add the location. I had lunch at a restaurant. Or you can add the people. I had dinner with my family.
I had a sandwich and some fruit for lunch. It sounds completely natural, and it is incredibly easy to say.
It really is.
Okay, so we have successfully talked about the morning, the heavy work day, and our meals. But a day isn't just a list of tasks.
Yeah.
To really connect with someone, especially that boss in the elevator, you have to talk about what you did when the work was completely finished.
Yes.
And more importantly, you have to express how all of it made you feel. This is the secret sauce of the sandwich.
It is the most important part. The feelings are what people actually care about.
Mhm.
But let's start with the free time actions first. What happens after work or after school?
Right.
You can use those phrases directly as street signs. After work, I went home. After school, I watched YouTube. Or after work, I cooked dinner.
This brings up another grammar rule,
Right.
very similar to the morning routine rule we discussed earlier. The line between a habit and what happened today.
Yes, we need to draw a very clear line here. If you are talking about something you enjoy doing every evening, use the word usually. Like, I usually watch a TV show. That is your habit.
Okay.
But if you were talking about this specific day, you drop the word usually and jump back into the past tense. Today I watched a TV show.
Let me make sure I've got this. Habit. I usually go for a walk. Today.
Today I went for a walk.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's a small change, but it keeps the listener in the right timeline.
Okay, now let's get to the absolute core of the conversation. Feelings. When we first learn English, we usually learn 3 basic feeling words. Happy, sad, and tired.
The classics.
Right, but how do we upgrade from these basic words so we don't sound like a children's book?
The easiest first step is just to use the word really to make a basic feeling stronger. So instead of just saying, I was tired, you say, I was really tired. It immediately adds emotion to your sentence.
That's simple enough. What about adding some completely new vocabulary words? What are some feelings adults actually experience on a normal Tuesday? We have 3 excellent ones from our sources. The first is relaxed. This means your stress is gone, you feel calm, and your body is comfortable. For example, I felt relaxed after dinner.
Relaxed. I like that one.
The second word is nervous. This is that worried, tight feeling you get in your stomach before something important. I felt nervous before my meeting.
Oh, I know that feeling well. I felt nervous before my presentation, or I felt nervous before my English test.
Exactly.
And what's the third word?
The third word is proud. This means feeling good about something you accomplished. You did something hard, and you feel good about yourself.
I love that word. Being proud is such a positive feeling. Also, I noticed you said, I felt relaxed. In the past, I've always said, I was relaxed. Are both of those okay?
Yes, both are completely fine. I was happy and I felt happy are both perfectly correct. Native speakers mix them up all the time. Just use whichever one comes to your mind first.
Okay, here is where this deep dive gets really exciting. We can connect these feeling words to our action words using a very specific sentence pattern. Our sources call it the because pattern.
This is perhaps the most important structure for learners to practice if they want to sound natural. The pattern is very simple. I felt blank because blank. You put your emotion in the first blank and the specific action in the second blank.
Let me try one. I felt nervous because my boss called me into his office. Am I doing that right?
You're doing it perfectly. Here's another one. I felt tired because I worked all day. Or I felt relaxed because I went for a walk.
Why is this because pattern so powerful for someone learning English? What's the reason behind it?
Because it connects your emotion to a real action. It gives the listener the why. Think about it. When you just say, I'm tired, it's just a simple status update. It's almost like a computer giving an error code.
Right.
But when you say, I felt tired because I had a lot to do at work, you have created a little story. You are giving the listener cause and effect. It shows your real personality.
There's one example of this pattern from our sources that I absolutely love, and I really want everyone listening to pay attention to this one. The sentence is, I felt proud because I practiced English.
That is a great sentence.
If you are listening to this deep dive right now, if you are paying attention, trying to improve your skills, you should feel proud. You are doing the hard work right now.
I completely agree. Learning a language takes so much time and mental effort. Showing up to practice is a very real reason to be proud.
So let's step back and look at what we've built.
Mm.
We have gathered all these amazing sandwich fillings. We have friendly general answers like, it was pretty good. We have our helpful street signs like first and then. We know how to expand our short verbs with duration and people. We know the secret of using had for meals instead of ate. And we have our because statements for feelings.
Yeah, a lot of tools now.
But let's go back to that elevator. The doors close. The boss asks, how was your day? How do you put all these beautiful pieces together quickly without freezing up?
You need a system. Our source material provides the ultimate 3-step formula for answering this question perfectly every single time. It takes the pressure off your brain.
I love a good formula. It feels safe.
Yeah.
Okay, break down the 3 steps for us.
Step 1, say how your day was in general. Step 2, say 2 or 3 specific things you did. Step 3, say how you feel right now. That is it.
Just 3 steps. Say how your day was, say 2 or 3 things you did, say how you feel now. Let's demonstrate this. Let's do a quick role play to show this formula in action.
Okay, sounds good.
I'll ask you the question, and you use the formula to answer. Let's imagine we had a really busy day. Ready?
I'm ready.
Hey, how was your day?
My day was really busy. I worked from 9 to 5, I studied English for an hour, and then I cooked dinner. I feel a little tired now.
Wow. I was so smooth. It was a complete story, but it was incredibly fast and natural. Notice, listener, there were no complicated, fancy vocabulary words there. Just simple, clear English.
Do you want to try one?
Let's try another one. This time I will answer. Let's pretend it was a nice, easy day. You ask me.
All right. Hey, how was your day today?
It was pretty good. I had a meeting with my team in the morning. I had lunch at a nice restaurant. And after work, I went for a walk. I feel really relaxed right now.
Spot on. You followed the 3-step formula exactly. You started with the open door. Pretty good. You used expanded verbs, meeting with my team, and lunch at a restaurant. And you finished with a feeling. It gives me a great picture of your day.
This formula really is a superpower for English learners. You can memorize this exact structure. Then, day by day, you just swap out the pieces. You change the times, change the food, and change the activities to match your life.
Exactly. You don't have to stress about complex grammar in the moment.
You just fill in the blanks. But remember, the key is practice. Practice is progress. Speak these sentences out loud while you are cooking or while you're in your car.
Yes, muscle memory is very real in language learning. The more you physically say the formula out loud by yourself, the easier it will flow out of your mouth in the real world.
Let's briefly recap our journey today. We started in that stressful elevator with the frustrating feeling of staring blankly when someone asks, "How was your day?" And we moved from that blank stare to having a real, reliable strategy.
We learned to avoid the word good and instead use open phrases like pretty good or a little tiring. We learned our street signs first. Then, after that, finally, we explored why had breakfast sounds much more natural than ate breakfast.
We also learned how to turn basic feelings into mini-stories using the because pattern. I felt happy because I talked to my friend. And finally, we put all of those ingredients into our 3-step formula.
You now have the exact tools you need. You don't ever have to hand people plain dry bread again. You can build a rich, detailed conversation sandwich.
You can finally show people your true personality in English. It's so empowering to realize you don't have to hide behind "I'm fine." But before we say goodbye, I want to leave you with one final thought.
Ooh, what is that?
Something that wasn't explicitly in our notes today, but something that I think is deeply fascinating about language. We have spent this entire deep dive talking about how changing your words changes your conversation with other people.
Right.
But what if changing your words also changes your own mind? Think about it. If you use this three-step formula every single evening, and you force yourself to end your answer on a positive feeling, like saying, I feel proud because I practiced English, does talking about your day differently actually start to change how you remember your day?
Wow. That is a profound question. If you train your brain to look for the interesting details and the positive feelings to fill out your English formula, you are essentially training your brain to focus on the good things.
Exactly. If you focus on the bright spots, just so you have something good to say in English. Can speaking better English actually make you a more optimistic person over time? Can grammar actually make you happier?
I love that idea. Language absolutely shapes our reality. How we describe our day eventually becomes how we experience our day.
It is definitely something to think about the next time you practice your new formula in the mirror. We want to warmly thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We know learning a language is hard work, and we are so incredibly glad you spent this time with us to improve yourself. Keep practicing, keep adding those delicious fillings to your conversation sandwich, and from both of us here, have a truly wonderful day.